Hello, welcome to Amateur Hour 28. The playoff rankings are finally out. The Hawkeyes finally say goodbye to Brian Ferentz, and the Big 12 is trying to kill Farmageddon. How you guys feeling?
Not
Feeling
great
wonderful.
about Farmageddon.
The duality of man there between a happy hawk now and a sad cyclone.
Yeah. All it took was a bye week for the Hawkeyes to be happy, and Cyclones
We
win.
didn't win or lose.
Yep.
So.
And Cyclones win, and we're mad now.
Yeah.
You know
There's
what
gotta
else
be bad
the
at
Hawkeyes
something.
didn't do? Is they had 0 yards, but they only had 2 more the week before. So
Yeah.
It's only 2 less yards.
Oh, shit. Well, Dave was entertaining me or surprised me before. He said he's got a trivia question to start us off here, Trent.
Ooh, let's hear it.
do you know what Bulls play in the Textile Bowl?
So this is like a bowl, like that's what they call their rivalry game.
Yep, that's what they call their rivalry game.
Is it played every year?
Yes, I think so.
Are they in the same conference?
Yes,
Oh man.
ACC.
ACC. Okay, I was going to go with a MAC school because I couldn't
Man,
think of anything.
I was thinking the same thing. So I'm like, man, if this is a Power 5 game, we would have heard of it, but apparently
Pitt?
not.
Pitt in Virginia. I honestly have no clue.
North Carolina and North Carolina State.
50% on one.
Me?
Yep.
North Carolina State.
Clemson?
Yeah, Clemson.
That is correct.
Wow.
Huh.
Being out there and watching the game last week, and they said, "Welcome back to the Textile Bowl," and I was like, "What the hell?" So I had to look it up, and yeah,
Looks like you had nicer weather sitting out there sending us a picture watching football outside on a patio while we're back in Iowa freezing our asses off last weekend.
oh yeah, it was nice. I was in shorts, enjoying the weather, watching football on the patio.
Brutal. We had snow.
So, speaking of rivalries, this one came up, and I was going to save this for upcoming week, but screw it. Can you two tell me who plays for the Platypus Trophy?
Oh man.
The what?
The Platypus Trophy.
Is it Northwest teams?
Yes.
Oh,
Is it Power 5?
Yes.
Is it Oregon and Oregon State? Because like a beaver and a duck.
Yes. That's correct.
Nice.
I wasn't even thinking of that. I was thinking of some other random stuff.
That is some good deduction there, man. That was
Yeah.
going to be my clue. Like, what does the animal look like? But fucking, you nailed it, man.
Nice.
Impressive.
All right, folks, we have 90 more minutes of rivalry questions. And
All right. We need more trivia. We're on fire tonight. Usually we're just like guessing
Random
15 guesses in, and then Brian just has to give it to us.
I've tried to figure it out. Oh my God, sorry. We're watching World Series, or at least I am. Aroldis Chapman's still in the league. I didn't even know that. So
He won a World Series with the Cubs in 2016.
see that's what I thought he was. I'll be honest, I never heard from him since then. So
I think he went back to New York maybe
yeah,
after that.
he did for New York for a little bit, but
Yeah.
Well, let's keep the rivalry questions going here. The one that's going to lead us into the rest. How many consecutive years has Farmageddon been played?
I know this one, and it's the longest consecutive played football game in college football right now.
Yep. Dave, do you have any guess?
122 years.
Less.
No.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. I think it's 100 and this year will be 107.
Correct. It has
Yes.
been 106 years,
Yeah.
and we've played 100. And this will be 107. And the reason I bring that up is because the Big 12 just released the 2024 to 2027 schedule, and they fucked this one up, man. I
Yeah.
have not seen one happy person about this yet. And I'm putting it on the screen right now. At least this is Iowa State's here. We play Kansas State for the next 3 years, but in 2027 they decide that we need to play Houston and UCF and Arizona State more than we need to keep a rivalry going. It's been going since 1917. I'm pretty sure that's the year the Titanic sank.
Now, this is what these huge 16 to 20 team conferences and realignment's going to do to college football.
Yep.
That's it. Now,
Go ahead.
I'm making a bold prediction here. Write it down. So when we're in like season 7 of Amateur Hour,
Yep.
Iowa State, Kansas State plays in the Big 12 championship in 2027 to keep it going. Screw you, Big 12.
Fingers crossed, dude, because this one really irked me. And like maybe this is like original member, like I think we deserve it. But there's only 4 protected rivalries that happened in this latest alignment here. Arizona State, which has gone longer than Iowa State, Kansas State, BYU, Utah. I believe it's just as many matchups, but it got broken up. Baylor, TCU, that one was the longest. I believe that started in like 1880 something. And then Kansas State, which has gone longer. So they chose 3 of the longer rivalries. In BYU, Utah, you got to have the Holy War, man. You can't lose the whole point of bringing them together was to have that rivalry, you know?
Yeah. How the Big 12 never made Farmageddon an official rivalry game is beyond me.
See, and I've heard that was one of the biggest things. Like they never made it like Iowa State and Kansas State never recognized the official. I mean, Christ, Iowa has 4 trophy games a year, you know.
Yeah.
But this has just like been dubbed Farmageddon. You could make a stupid brass tractor be the Farmageddon, you know, an ear of corn on this side and a piece of wheat on this side. But we decided not to, and now it's getting lost. And
dude, if I had an old antique tractor, like say I was a farmer, and I would donate it to the schools and be like, here's the trophy, paint one half of it red, one half of it purple. It travels.
The silver accent on it, you know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Dude, I'm telling you. And like the losing, you know, the winning team keeps it for the year, and then that like ag program gets to drive it to the college to the game for the next year.
Dude, again, man, we should be ADs. I
Sweet.
but again, that's just one of those. You know, I was pretty upset and I was tweeting through my feelings earlier. But you know, when you're talking about it, it's like remember when Pitt and West Virginia the last 2 years have brought back the backyard brawl, and everyone's going, "Holy shit, this is the greatest thing ever! Why did we ever stop?" It's like, well, because of fucking realignment, you know.
Yep.
And the Big 12 was the aggressor this round. We added more teams, and this is kind of the cost we have to do. But it's like at the same time, it's like, man, like you're telling me we couldn't have figured out. We have all the time in the world. We could have figured out pods. We could have had protected rivalries. So, you know, the Big 12 conference is getting way more region. It's getting larger, but we need to, in my opinion, we need to regionalize it. You know, have the pod of Colorado, Iowa State, Kansas State, Arizona State, Utah, BYU, the Texas schools, minus Houston, UCF, Cincinnati, West Virginia. It sucks. Honestly, it does suck for those schools regardless. But that's kind of like, well, you're getting Power 5 money and you didn't get left behind now. Just like same thing. We kind of got to be grateful right now. We're not a MAC school, you know, with how the last few years have gone. But man, it's funny how like any other time I go, I fucking hate Kansas State fans. And then it's like, well, you're not going to play them anymore. I'm like, these are my brothers. What do you mean? We're not going to play anymore.
I agree with you 100% on this. Realignment's taking it out, man.
Well, and it's just like everyone's going, I'm going to be so sad that Bedlam's gone. I'm going to be so sad. It's like this is what we're losing with college football. As much as I love it, but if we want to keep up, if we want to be with the big dogs before we get left behind, and look what happened when you don't make some sacrifices, like the Pac-12 was unwilling to do. All of a sudden, they don't got a home anymore, and you still got two teams out west that don't. They haven't figured it out yet.
Now the Platypus Bowl's done.
Just go
All
independent.
because of this. Yeah. I mean, play who we want.
I know they've looked into those two just going independent, because I know like in the 90s, like South Carolina and Penn State and all these other schools are just independent. But like right now, with how much these networks are paying, you have to have that money inbound. Otherwise, I mean, that's your whole athletic budget at that point.
Unless you're Notre Dame. I mean, Oregon State and Washington State, they're not the brand that Notre Dame is for NBC to just pick them up and like, oh, you're on TV. This is your TV deal. You don't need to be in a conference. Oregon State and Washington State, they don't have that. They don't have that brand.
You know what they also didn't have? They didn't have George W. Bush and Condoleezza Rice begging the ACC to take them on either.
Yeah.
They didn't
have
SMU also
Rudy.
has. What's that?
He also didn't have Rudy.
I'm trying to even think of any. I mean, what are you gonna? Who's the athlete from either schools that would even be close to the Rudy or the most well known?
Jaquiz Rogers.
God, I was just thinking that one. That name always sticks out to me. I remember
Gardner Minshew.
It's always that in DeQuell Jackson, D'_QWELL from Maryland. That one just steel trap. I will never forget it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, and maybe in a few years things will have changed again, and it's not going to happen, or it'll change. So I don't know here. Now, one thing I got a question on that we're coming up on here, because I always put up the AP top 25 teams, and this is the AP top 25, right? And I'm just going to note the top 5 are Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington. But then the playoff committee comes out, and now all of a sudden the top 25, like ESPN and everyone else, they're going Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, Florida State. Washington's outside at 5, and Oregon's at 6. Like, why do they do the AP top 10 or top 25 anymore if ESPN and everyone's only going to recognize these playoff rankings?
Yeah. The one thing I noticed and hated on these is Air Force is 25 in these college football playoffs. They're 17 in the AP poll. They're undefeated.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Why are they 25th?
You ready to go conspiracy brain? They got to make sure all the schools like UCLA, USC, so that when Oregon and Washington are playing them later in the year, it's got to look like a little better victory.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's going to and same thing with, the Big 12 is getting lucky. Yeah, Kansas, Oklahoma State, Kansas State. Right now we have a win over one of our losses is a number 9, but one of our wins is a 22 compared to the AP top 25, which let's pull that back up. Oklahoma State ain't on here. Kansas is at 22, but we have Iowa State's not making the playoffs, but we have a better shot to keep climbing those rankings with how the playoff rankings are.
Yeah.
I think it's strange how Air Force and Tulane take such a dive.
Yeah. And that's honestly, it almost feels
actually,
like
Tulane only goes down 3, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and if you think about it, Dave, you make a good point here that it's the non-Power 5 schools.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, because they're 21st and then 24th and then 17th all the way down to 25th.
Yeah. That is a crime that Air Force is 25 in these.
I should do some math and figure out which conference went up and went down the most drastically. And then if it looks bad for the SEC, I'm obviously going to post it on there. But if it looks good, like the Big 12 benefited, I will clearly not give that information out. I gotta stick with that the money's against the Big 12 play in here. But
here's something I noticed on that too. So it's for later in the pod, but
Yeah.
the USC so USC
Let me pull it back up. Okay.
is 20th in that, and they're
24th.
24th. So they do a pretty big jump.
Yeah, UCLA is 19th, and they're 19th in this one as well.
Yeah, so I'm kind of interested in seeing what happens maybe this weekend if they get beat. Do they stay in because they've already lost 3 games?
USC.
Yeah,
that would be their 3rd loss, right?
Yeah, I think so. If they lose,
they're 7-2.
Yeah,
now,
so that would be.
We've talked about this. It's versus Washington, right?
Yeah,
it's a good loss.
Yeah.
So we don't need to drop them out. It's a good loss.
They'll just replace Air Force, and Air Force will probably get knocked out, probably.
But yeah, even after they're 8-0.
Yep.
I did watch the Air Force, quite a bit of the Air Force Colorado State game Saturday night. I think it was it was not in Colorado Springs. It was in Fort Collins at Colorado State, snowing. Colorado State's jerseys were sick. I don't know if we can find them here, but they were legit.
I was glad someone else saw that. I hate like when I'm always texting you guys because like I sleep in. You guys have families, but I sleep in because I exclusively watch college football until the wee hours of the morning every single Saturday. I'm getting it pulled up right here, but these ones are, like you said, they're fucking sick, dude. Let's get this closed out.
Are they the whites?
I'm gonna share it on
whites with like the Colorado flag logo? Yeah.
Yeah. See, this is why it's so fun not being you have a few schools like Penn State and Alabama, and they don't do alternates because they're traditional, and that's very cool. I would kind of wish Iowa State had some of that, but it is so fun when you can have a school like this where it's like, you know what, fuck it, we're going to create cool jerseys, and we're going to want to make kids want to come here. Those are sick, man.
Yeah, and they looked awesome on like the field with a little bit of snow covering it in those whites. It was legit.
Hell yeah.
And then I think what was Arizona State wearing, Air Force, all their blues. Those were it was just a cool contrast.
They have some really Air Force has Semper Supra, which is like always above uniforms that are alternate. Those ones, if you ever look those up, I saw those on TV, and it was one of those. I'm glad I couldn't figure out how to I hadn't had like Apple Pay set up or yet, because I would have bought those like instantly when I saw them.
I've always kind of had a little spot in my heart for the Air Force Academy and their football team. I went to the Air Force Academy when I was like 9. If you're ever in Colorado Springs, go check it out. It's pretty cool.
And because of Zach and Blythe.
Yeah, and Katrina, my wife.
And Katrina too.
She was
sorry, Katrina.
So
I guess back to the playoffs here. Sorry, we're just going on tangents on rivalries and jerseys.
We might not get to Iowa and Iowa State football this week. Got any more trivia?
Any problems with where they're at right now, other than the jumping on the lower ones? But that'll sort itself out.
Yeah. No, that was my big thing, was those lower teams.
Yeah.
I mean, I think right now these are the 6 best teams.
It's kind of one of those. I've slowly realized that the committee will for sure always overrank Ohio State. They got to give them as much credit as they can. I think Michigan should have an asterisk next to it. That's just personally me being a Big Ten hater. Otherwise, Washington, Florida State, who cares where you're at 4 or 5 at the moment? Just win out and you're in at that point.
Yep. Yeah, and is Matthews watching? Because Jesus, Oklahoma, really? Oklahoma had a shot. If they could have gone undefeated, we had it set up perfectly for a no SEC college football playoff. And I think Oklahoma screwed that.
Look at all those SEC teams in the top 10, though. Georgia, Texas, Alabama, OU, Ole Miss.
Yep.
Man,
Jesus.
SEC getting stronger there.
Yeah.
No way that they all beat up each other next year and that it's going to create a cluster for the SEC.
Those are good losses, though.
Matthews might be on later. He's watching the World Series at the moment. He's a big old Rangers fan. He's from Texas.
All right. Well, he'll have to go back and replay this.
So quick, get your takes out in Oklahoma. They fucking suck. You let Jason Bean beat you? Come on, man.
Yeah.
What kind of team loses to Kansas? Iowa State won't. Would
not a chance.
Ain't gonna happen.
No.
So, nah. But playoffs, I had nothing.
They lose on Saturday.
You heard it here, David. Not a chance.
Yeah. Did you not listen? It's not gonna. We're trying to keep the good vibes going here. You know, let's keep them going. I'll put it up here. Beth Gotts is not afraid of Kirk Ferentz, and she dismisses Brian Ferentz at the end of the year. I wasn't sure if I wanted to call it fired, but I'll say dismissed to be nice about it.
I think it's a slippery slope on either of them, really, because he did put a resignation in beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was more like, hey, you resigned. You're not going to become an O-line coach like you used to be or anything like that. You're just out of here. You know,
Did she look at the piece of paper and Brian Ferentz says, hey, that's my resignation? She goes, oh, really? No, it's not. I'm firing you.
Because all his offensive plays drawn with crayons.
Oh, Lord. I'd be surprised if he even brought it down.
Probably eats crayons.
You know, but if you've been under a rock, you know that's the only way you don't know about this contract here. And it's kind of funny. I was talking with a couple buddies. Is this contract by Gary Barta was probably the last little fuck you he could get to Kirk because Kirk got away with everything. Barta couldn't do anything about it. What do you do with a guy that basically has tenure and 2 decades of experience there? But this fact, it doesn't shock me, but it also shocks me at the same time. If you were to give everyone in the Big Ten West that same contract, everyone would be fired by the end of the year. Here's this is shit. You can't really see the Wisconsin one, but they're averaging, let's unminimize it, 24.8, so technically under. But Purdue, 21.9 points. Northwestern, 21.8. Minnesota, 21.1. Illinois, 20.4. Nebraska, 20.3. Iowa, 19.5. But they're in second in the West. Everyone else is scoring within 5 points of them and is worse.
And this is just the offensive coordinator. Like, these teams are scoring defensive and special team touchdowns too. So this isn't just offensive points. It's even lower if you were to just take offensive points.
Yeah. It's one of those, like I said, that's where it's kind of funny because like they could have just had this be, you know, in private, known this contract and whatever. Because if we didn't know about this 25 points a game, all we'd be saying is Iowa's winning ugly and they can't compete versus top teams, which is technically true. But we wouldn't be having this just onslaught of jokes about the University of Iowa. You know, it really brought a lot of unnecessary national attention to them. And if you're this AD, you got to get rid of them. You can't have this continue to loom over you, dude. You're about to lose recruits at a significant level on offense. Yep. Defense, you're going to be fine. You're always going to develop them. But on offense, you're about to like make a drop past like MAC schools. If you're on offense, if you're not going to do something about Brian.
I think you said it in the text group. I think it was you or somebody said something about the Labas guy.
Yeah.
You know, Joey Labas?
Yeah, Labas. I think it's weird how 2 years now, hey, do you mind trying another backup? Or hey, do you mind trying somebody else? And they have gone silent, like, or they come up with these excuses of, oh, at practice he's not doing this, or he's not. It's like, well, that's practice. Maybe let's just throw him in a game, see what happens. Maybe he figures something else out. Maybe he is way better in the moment than just going through the motions at a practice.
Dude beat Kentucky in a bowl game last year.
Which, well, they didn't have all their starters in. Well, he still beat the team. He looked competent out there. Like,
you know, people are asking him, are you going to make a quarterback change? Or, sorry, asking Kirk Ferentz, are you going to make a quarterback change? You know, Joey Labas. And, you know, Kirk, why would I do that? He might as well just say, that dude is the worst football player on the face of the earth. If
And that's
he's
2
not
years in a row
even
he's
giving
done
him
that,
a
too.
shot. Does Joey Labus have arms?
I
That's
don't
the
know.
only reason you wouldn't put him in there.
It's one of those I cannot like. We've seen a national travesty at quarterback with Deacon Hill playing, and you're gonna go and not even that like, oh well, he's looked better in practice. He's going. There is no way I'm. What is Joey Labus doing in practice? Is he skipping out and fucking Kirk's wife? That's the only thing I can think of on why he would not be starting or given a shot at this.
He's the little leaguer in left field that's like chasing butterflies.
And picking dandelions.
Yeah.
Except the
sitting
butterflies
Indian
first.
style, crisscross applesauce,
Yeah.
whatever you call it.
So I don't know, man.
It's insane.
It absolutely is insane. And it was one of those, once I was reading these stats, I kind of felt a little bad for Brian. But also, like, so that's just the Big Ten West. By the way, this is the national lowest points per game. And just going through the list, it's Michigan State lost their coach at the beginning of the year. In Indiana, Iowa, Arizona State, which has a brand new coach, and they're not bowl eligible, so you're not going to get the best team. Utah, which is on their backup quarterback, and Utah's known for that as well. I mean,
but
it is.
Yeah, and
Go ahead.
and you know, you put the Big Ten West up there. Michigan State and Indiana, they're in the Big Ten East. So over half of the Big Ten's coach would be fired under that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Contract.
You know, I looked at it earlier. It is Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, Maryland, Rutgers. That's it. Everyone else is fired. They're over 25.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I do say kudos to Beth, though, for like pretty much
standing up to him
and not like making it like, oh, let's make this contract null and void, because he is. I mean, there is a chance he gets to his 7 games. You know, like if he would have get that, oh, let's make it null and void. Before they even have a chance of getting to 7 games, they said, nope, you're, you know, we accept that resignation, and you're not coming back to the team in any other role.
You know what? I think you know what the nail on the coffin was. It's this upcoming game we're going to talk about. You have an over-under set at 29.5 points, the only game ever to open it at less than 30 points a game.
Yep.
In the entire game. That is insane, man. I can't think of the you know, the UMass Minutemen versus, you know, a MAC school. The MAC school should confidently shut down, you know, the Minutemen, but they're going to score, you know, 40 points against them. I've never seen such a, like, these stats are staggering every single week. This is the first time ever that named the worst offensive stat you've ever heard. Iowa has punted for 800 more yards than their offenses had offense this year.
Oh, wow. That's something I didn't even know.
Yeah. I mean, the 8 football fields more of punting. That is
insane.
Punt to win, baby.
Yeah, and they're 6-2.
Yeah. So that's the thing. If that contract was never a thing, none of this would be talked about. It'd be Iowa 6-2. They're winning ugly. Good for them.
They've been in every game except one. That's it. It wouldn't be holy shit. This is hilarious.
It should be 7-1.
Yeah, just stupid, man. I saw this picture and it was going around social media the other day. I got to ask the resident Hawk fan. Is this getting too much at the World Series?
No.
This guy holding the sign that says
it was
hilarious.
Catch. I thought it was hilarious.
I think it's hilarious, but like, could you imagine any cyclone that ended up on national television and made anything about a referee or signs? That guy would be eaten alive, man.
Yeah, like, Twitter would just start on fire.
Yeah,
probably.
It's just like.
I'll agree with you. Like, yeah, the world would fall apart but
I see both.
Well, Yeah, it's like we objectively agree it was a terrible call, and like the Iowa State fans, we can agree that it shouldn't have come down to it and everything. It's just one of those like I liked it, but I just know if the roles were reversed, it would be a heyday with all Hawk fans. Oh, the Iowa State and the refs, blah blah, and this is just like the refs. I don't know.
I thought it was funny
it rubbed me
because
the
of the
wrong
stage
way.
that it's in.
Yeah,
World Series
the-
makes
the-
it funny.
Wasn't
Now,
wasn't even a college football game. Just
Yeah,
World
like,
Series.
if it was like some random other game, I'd just be like,
Mm. Oh, if you watch any sport live sports event, man, I saw an Iowa fan at a Chiefs Broncos game in Denver, not in Kansas City, like proximity, in Denver. Just I'm gonna purposely wear my Hawk gear on the outside for this Broncos game. Just what are we doing here,
Dude,
man?
I know that. So there's just targeted stuff on Facebook. So I think it's. Oh, I can't remember what Hawkeye site it is, but it's always like comes up on my Facebook for some reason. And it's like, oh, here's one here. It's like a guy wearing a Hawkeye shirt at the USC game. And I know I take the first couple of weeks of the year, I just like sent it to Bryant, like, dude, there's always one.
is it
There's
the
always one.
Hawkeye Heaven one?
I think I think it might be.
Yeah,
There's always one.
I follow him.
Just kind of so we can rush and start getting to the actual game here. Just the breakdowns is from Brent McMurphy, who's pretty good follow on Twitter. Right now they have Iowa State projected to play Nebraska in the Guaranteed Rate Bowl on December 26th, and then Arizona is going to go bowling this year. Man, they had a crazy stretch, but their quarterback that they are starting now, this freshman's pretty legit. They have Arizona playing Iowa in the Las Vegas Bowl on December 23rd. Hell, I would love to go one of those two, Vegas or Phoenix,
Dude,
for a bowl
that'd be
game
sweet.
around Christmas. That'd be fucking awesome, man.
Really weird seeing Iowa play before Iowa State, though. I'll admit that.
The really
Yeah.
weird, or not weird, the bad thing is that Guaranteed Rate Bowl is the day after Christmas. Like, if
Yeah.
it were on the 23rd, it'd be sweet. You could fly out Friday, go to the game Saturday, fly back Sunday, be home for Christmas Monday.
Yep.
So that Las Vegas Bowl is prime day.
Fly out to Phoenix on Christmas Day. It's not that busy. I've flown on Christmas Day
Yeah.
from Phoenix to Des Moines. It's not that busy.
It's just your holiday, Dave. Come on.
Yeah. Katrina would be okay with it. We'd have to take a couple days
Bring her
off
with.
work. Yeah.
Yeah, screw it. So, anything else on all that before we kind of get into the game here?
Let's see. Let me look at the agenda here.
Oh, you're good.
Are-
Oh shit! I was
Yeah.
the Michigan.
Yeah,
thing.
Michigan thing.
Have you? Did we talk about how they were talking about giving signs to South Carolina last week? Right?
I think I saw you guys talking about that.
Yeah. Is that you? Is that you in the stands wearing your Michigan? I'm sorry, you're not Michigan gear. Clearly, you're not affiliated with Michigan.
If I had a Michigan shirt, I'd be wearing it right now.
Yeah, just so people know.
Those are my Michelob Ultra binoculars, by the way.
Those are. Jesus. They think they saw this guy, this Connor Stallions, on the Central Michigan sideline.
Yes.
And it's funny because like everyone's like, okay, cool, generic white guy with a beard, shocker. And then you talk to CMU, which should be pretty easy. Like, hey, that's one of your staff, isn't it? And they go, we don't know who that is, and we're investigating. Dude, how the fuck is this?
How did he get there?
How did he get there? There's pictures online. I think Josh Pate broke it down, but there's plenty of pictures where it's like there. You think it's a reflection off of the sunglass. It's a night game, by the way.
Yeah,
he's wearing sunglasses.
Yes.
And holding a blank clipboard, and then you see like, oh, it's a reflection off his lens. No, there's a light right here on the corner of the spectacle. And then all of a sudden people are just showing up. Yeah, here's the exact Ray-Bans that have a camera built in right here and the flash right above it. That was the light showing. And there are several like angles of a play coming towards him. And all of a sudden this guy is pulling his hat down and turning away and stuff. Like, this is kind of really, this is what it must feel like when you're enthralled with like the Kardashians and celebrity gossip. because I'm eating this shit up every single day. Every new update on this Connor Stallions thing, it's awesome.
Here, like with that though, with me, if you're
Yeah.
Michigan, do you need to steal Central Michigan signs?
Well, they're playing Michigan State at the
Oh, they
time.
were. Because that was my
Yeah.
other thought. Like, he's probably not stealing Michigan State signs, but chances are they're playing a MAC school. But okay, if they're playing Michigan
Yeah,
State,
no,
I get
they're
it.
playing Michigan State, and now he's facing the Michigan State sidelines. And my favorite is there's people that like they I don't know, they like faded out one picture of him at Michigan and at the CMU, and they like lined it up, and the earlobes match, the fucking face, the beard. It was like, this is the guy. Like, there's no way you can deny it. Who has a coach that just stands on the sidelines and has a blank clipboard and a pass that says visitors pass on it? Like, come on, man. It's I don't know. There hasn't been much more than that broke down, but like, dude, like I am waiting for this to all hit, like either right before or right after the Ohio State game, when they're either going to be on the high of like, we're going to the Big Ten championship playoffs, or we lost and now we're going even further down. Like, we don't have the outside chance of being the one loss team that only lost to one Ohio State team. We get to sneak in again.
Yeah, this is just a huge stain for them. I mean, they're doing so well, and then this comes out, and it's like, okay, this is why. And all the statistics are there. Like, in the 50 games that Harbaugh coached before they hired this guy, he's under 500. And then after that, he's like, it's like 25-5 or something like that.
Yeah,
those are
he was
made up stats, but it's a huge discrepancy between before and after this guy was hired.
I believe he was like, I'm sorry, it was like 15-27. He still had a winning record, but he was trending the wrong way. You know, because he couldn't win the big game. He was not getting to the playoffs. That's your metric if you're Michigan. You hire this guy, and all of a sudden you're 30-3, and two of your losses are are the bowl games that you can't scout, and one of them is a rivalry game that was decided by 4 points. And it was, I think the lens to it as well is you lost to Michigan State, a rivalry game, but you lost to Kenneth Walker, who is they're going to run with him, stop it, and they just couldn't.
Yeah. Wasn't it TCU, who they lost to in the college football playoff? They were using fake signs. Is that
dummy signs? Yeah. Yep, they were using dummy signs in it because they'd heard rumors that Michigan had been doing that. Why? This is the other thing. I was getting pissed off, and this has been going on for a couple weeks. People are talking, it's like, well, why don't you just change your signs every week? It's like, you expect a team of 100 players with a staff of 7 that has to learn a whole new schemes and game plan each week with new opponents, and you want them to learn new signs every single week. Yeah. Very clearly, you've never had to teach anyone or been around teachers that have experience of teaching that many. I'm going to say, I guess just students, that's going to be the correct term, but you clearly haven't had to teach someone and then have them pass a test. Because if you think it's just that easy to change your whole system week after week after week, like, you're insane if you think that's possible.
Yeah, and it's not just passing a test. It's you got to get every one of those guys has to get 100% of these right every time.
Yeah. Oh, and then if you have one guy that's getting it wrong, now you have to teach one guy to teach him in real time.
Yeah.
That ain't happening, man. I mean, it's just stupid how everyone, and it's probably just these Michigan fan deniers, but it's like, you can't expect that, man.
Yep.
In the offseason, sure, you have 9 months to prepare for it, not week to week. Even the bowl game, you have a month to prepare. Mm-hmm. That's probably tough enough as is.
Yeah.
So, anyway, well, I hope that one continues. I hope we just have the weekly Stallion Minute, and we can just keep breaking down the the newest thing that they keep coming up with. I
wonder. I've been wondering since you guys talked about this. I've been trying to think. Was Harbaugh on the hot seat at all before this guy was hired?
Like COVID year, right? Is when they were terrible.
COVID year, they were 2-4. They quit their last 3 games. Harbaugh was on the hard seat. He was losing to Michigan State. I think he lost to Rutgers that year. He lost a lot of inexcusable games that year. Excuse me. And then they decided to, like, for student safety, now that they weren't winning. And it was the big controversy because, like, they didn't play Ohio State that year. And we we're all worried about if we're going to leave Ohio State out. Spoiler, they're never going to leave Ohio State out of the playoffs. You know, it was just one of those, like, how could they do this, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden they hire an ex-Marine and, you know, all of a sudden stealing signs and things are working.
I was just kind of curious because I didn't know if he was hired prior to, like, a hot seat or during a hot seat type thing. So
he was in the, like, it was like, you have to start beating Ohio State or you're going to be done here. And then he was. The only other note on the Harbaugh thing is he was going to lined up to be the highest paid coach in the Big Ten, and then they withdrew the offer once all this stuff started coming out.
Yep.
That was going to be the only other story. So, all right, now we get to talk some Iowa State, some real football here, guys. Iowa State 30, Baylor 18. It was a very good game. It was sloppy. It was rainy. It looked like a flipping mess, but overall, very solid game from Iowa State here. The third 4-1 start in school history. The only other times are 2017 and 2020, both under Matt Campbell. So, yeah, he's probably on the hot seat, right, after Ohio?
Yeah, totally on the hot seat. Dude deserves Big 12 Coach of the Year right now with what they went through this offseason with the gambling thing and the whole turnaround and being tied for first in the Big 12. Weren't they picked to be like 11th or 13th or something like that?
I'm pretty sure it was 11th because it was Cincinnati, Houston, and I think West Virginia under.
Yeah, and now we're tied for first. Yeah, just crazy. Iowa State played. I didn't think they played great either, and you still come away with a 12-point win on the road.
Yep. No, and we were. I'll say we were in control the whole time, but boy, they just kept the door open for Baylor enough that as Iowa State fans, you felt like this is gonna turn at some point.
Yep.
If you're an Iowa fan with a 12-point lead, you're feeling fine.
Yeah.
No way they scored 2 touchdowns against us. But
yeah, sitting there at shiny top at the end of the third quarter and into the fourth quarter, I was sweating it.
Yeah. No, it was one of those, like, I wanted to just turn it away. We had control, but at the end of the first half, if you didn't watch, and I agree with this call, Campbell was trying to get aggressive. He was wanting to get one more score, ideally a touchdown, but a field goal would have worked. And Rocco just young through that first that interception on the first play. We gave him enough time to get that score, but someone pointed out as well, TJ Tampa had the ejection for the hit.
Yeah.
He's going to be back versus Kansas, and they only scored once TJ Tampa was out of there.
Yeah.
Once their offense opened up a little bit.
Yeah, that penalty came at the right time, right at the end of that first half. Didn't happen in the second half, so he can play all game this week.
See, if we would have lost, I would have been furious. But now that we won, it's like, we just got to rest TJ for the second half. Yeah. Be ready for Kansas.
Yep. Can't get hurt if he's sitting in the locker room.
So, my notes on this one, I would say the 3rd and 1. I think the line's looking great. It's crazy how much better compared to the Ohio game that we look. Let's see, bad. Jeremiah Cooper injury, that one, never ideal, obviously, when you're going to have one of your better corners that's going to be potentially out, especially versus this Kansas team.
Yep.
I think he's still 50-50. Campbell says 50-50. He's probably not going to play. We looked like a young team that just couldn't pull it out. Couldn't just be done with this game. Get a touchdown, get a 19-point lead, bury them, and be done with it.
Yeah.
And then the last note I had, just the most shocking, we're tied for first place, boys. Or Trent, I guess Dave. I guess if you root for Iowa State, sure, but we're tied for first place, and right now we can control our destiny. We don't have to wait for any crazy situations to happen. We control it 100%.
How nuts would it be if Iowa State wins this week? Actually, what did I say earlier? It's a guarantee. We winning this week?
Yeah, it's guaranteed. I mean, we don't have to worry about
It wasn't a guarantee. It was like a we will win or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So just absolutely nuts if Iowa State wins this week versus Kansas and then next week on the road at BYU and then get Texas at home 6-1 in the Big 12. Just nuts.
We need to
You
focus
two
on
are
Kansas.
getting hard-ons, aren't you?
Oh,
I can't stand up right now.
dude. When you're picked to get
This isn't-
13th in the Big 12, David.
This isn't a little red hilltopper poking out from the bottom of the screen. That's me.
just the tip there.
I got the hilltop. I bought into their NIL, dude. But real quick, there's so many cool things with this NIL going on. I logged into the Western Kentucky site because I saw these last week. They had the different positions, wide receiver. I chose the lineman one, and you can choose the shirt and what player you want the contribution to go to. That was the coolest thing. It's like they took a picture of so you knew exactly what player it was. I just chose the coolest looking center they had on their team and sent the money to him. But there's a lot of schools that are doing some neat stuff with this. Like the smaller schools that have to get creative, not just Oklahoma getting their deals with all their athletes and stuff.
I'm gonna buy a shirt and get that money to the backup punter.
There you go. You get the punting big red.
He deserves.
I like it
for the brand, baby.
For the brand. Oh God. So, honestly, not much more I need to talk about Iowa State Baylor.
No.
I
I feel like Iowa State left
to.
points on the field too. Rocco Beck missed 2 throws that were 100% touchdowns.
Yeah.
There was one in the first half. It was on 3rd down.
Not Higgins. I can't
remember who it was either, but it was the left side of the field. The defender fell or something, or he just burnt him, and he was 10 yards past him, overthrew him. And then there was one in the, it might have been the 3rd or 4th quarter that he just, it was in the end zone. The dude was wide open, threw it over his head.
I think Brommer had a drop, and Jackson had a pretty bad drop.
See, this wasn't even a drop. It was just an overthrow on 3rd down. So you get off the field both times. So there was a couple touchdowns off the board too. Iowa State could have been up 2 more touchdowns.
Sloppy game on our end, but a win's a win, man. That's the nice thing. We, every time I donate to the We Will Collective, however many points we score from kicking, I donate that much more to our collective because it's just like this hasn't been a guarantee for fucking decades.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we got a kicker that doesn't have who has his head out and can actually nail these.
What's his name? Contreras.
Contreras.
He had a good game. He had a really good game on Saturday.
Yeah, Contreras. Let me see here. What's this overall here? 3, 7 for 9. Why the fuck don't they have an overall? There we go. 15 for 19 on field goals, which that's not even 80%. That's very good for Iowa State. We're used to 50, 40,
For sure.
And he's made everything over 50. He's only had misses between 30 yards and 49 yards.
And he's
making the easy one.
And
he's 3 for 3 between 20 yards and 29 yards.
And he averages 10 yards a carry.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I need to donate more money for $10 for the 10 yards he rushed.
If he would have missed every kick on Saturday, we would have won. Well, we'd went overtime. He had 3 field goals, 3 extra points. He was 6 for 6.
Yeah.
So that don't happen last year. Not at all.
No, I wouldn't say it's crazy how the winning in the margin stuff we finally have it.
Yeah.
So we had some big games. I really didn't watch too much of them. The Texas game was out of control by the time I switched over. All of these none of them were close games.
No.
These are the big 4 that we highlighted. It was one of those just like the only reason I was happy about the Oregon one is it's going to make the Pac-12 a little more interesting because Utah, they ain't winning it. They got a backup quarterback. Also, I think I texted you guys this on Saturday. I used to work at a hog confinement, a farrow to finish operation, small piggies all the way until you send them to slaughter. And they're making this Bryson Barnes out to be like a small town farmer.
Dude.
And they're like, oh, he's just a humble little pig farmer. And it's like, that is me initially. That's a cool story. I love it. Pig skin with a pig farmer? Yes. And they go, their family just had 12,000 head of hog. 12,000 hogs?
Yeah.
Do you know how fucking large that is?
Yeah.
Like, I was gonna do some math, and I don't know how to make good graphics, but like a football field is roughly twice the area space square footage as a finished building for hogs, and just one finished building holds 1,200 hog. So a football field holds about 24 if they were packed, 2,400 hogs if they were packed in there. You have 5 football fields worth of hogs, and you're in the humble beginning.
So they need roughly 6 acres of hog
just
buildings.
building. Just
shows you how
buildings,
much these networks know.
Dude, Game Day ate that shit up. I don't know if you watched Game Day. I did. Like, what was the graphic? Like, he had
Game Day or
I don't think it was Game Day that had the graphic, but it was like has a farm with 12,000 head of hog, most in the FBS.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
FBS.
I'm just like, there is somebody on Iowa or Iowa State's roster that's got more than that. I guarantee freaking you.
But like, it was just one of those like, dude, like you're acting like these humble beginnings. That family had some fucking money if they have 12,000 hogs.
I wonder if the Lindenbaums had any, or
dude,
or I can't remember the other name. It was from West Lyon.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they're giants up there too.
Beef Bowl.
Watching all that, I'm just like on Game Day, and I'm just like, man, I'm like,
because people in the Northeast, these liberal elite coastal elites, they're gonna go, oh yeah, 12,000 hogs, and they're gonna not think of it. It's like, do you know what a full-size pig is? Like, this isn't just a small operation.
Yeah, a piglet from Winnie the Pooh, I bet.
Do you know how many?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know how much
they think a
bacon
little
that
teapot
is?
piggy.
Yeah, that's not vegan or fake.
This is kind of messed up. Would you ever want to eat bacon from a teapot pig? Cutest little strip of bacon here. It's like a little strip of gum.
No, it's not enough.
No,
I know, but it's just like the novelty and like get like a
novelty
like a robin
bacon.
egg, the smallest little egg.
How many of those pigs make 1 pound of bacon?
Yeah, that's what.
Jimmy Dean's novelty bacon.
I'm pretty sure I was drunk at a bar once, and I was I don't know. I get in these moods where it's like I just want to mess with people and just see like how they'll react. And me and this guy were having a blast talking about like Tyson has these giant like confinements where they haul in hogs or they're hanging. They slaughter.
Smithfield
big
Foods,
operation.
like 6 miles from my house.
Yeah, but like what those entail and like how large of an operation. What if you have a building like an eighth of the size and it's teapot pig? Same thing. You back up your Chevy Cruze because you don't have to haul this big old trailer with all your teapot pigs.
You can fit the same amount of pigs in there as you can in a regular hog trailer.
Yeah. You ready for your 0.1 ounces of bacon here? I have 90 strips, and you just throw them all in the pan at the same time. They're just little bitty ones. That's where bacon bits come from, actually. They don't just cut up normal bacon. It's all pigs.
Every day on my way to work, if I take Rice Street into Sioux Falls, multiple hog trucks going to Smithfield. Yep. Multiple.
Poor little piggies there.
That's their last ride, man.
So speaking of which,
I was gonna say, speaking of more blowout games, this past weekend, the South Dakota Showdown.
Shit, I didn't even look that up. How'd they do?
Number 1 South Dakota State versus number 4 South Dakota, the Yotes. People were talking the Yotes are going to be number 1 in the FCS by the end of the weekend. They're taking South Dakota State down. Nope. Did not happen. 37-3 Jackrabbits, baby.
Yeah.
Eat it.
We got it on the screen here now. 37-3.
And South Dakota State didn't
the-
didn't even do anything in that first quarter.
Gronowski, 200 yards passing. Isaiah Davis, 69 yards of rushing. Very nice. And Jackson Janke with almost 100 yards receiving.
That's
win
Yankee. Yankee. The Yankee twins. There's two receivers. They're twins.
Is it a soft J?
Yes.
Yankee?
Yes.
Okay. Like Yas flute?
Yeah, so I watched a little bit of that, and dude, South Dakota came out. South Dakota came out. They took the ball, they went down, they got that field goal, and then South Dakota State got the ball immediately, 3 and out. They looked awful in the first quarter, and then South Dakota State said, "Okay, that's enough of that shit," and they hammered down.
All right, gentlemen, ears up.
Ears
and
up.
Then they just went to fucking town, huh?
Took out the Yotes so easy.
Shit. Damn, I'm gonna have to remember to start putting that score in there because we need some FCS coverage in here.
You got
even
it.
Though we already know who's in.
Right here, back-to-back national champs.
I'm gonna find some NAIA scores
now. This weekend coming up is the border. Look up the South Dakota State, North Dakota State trophy and get that up there, Bryant. It's the border marker trophy. Cool trophy. That's what South Dakota State and North Dakota State are playing for this weekend. Yeah, it's just like almost looks like a pylon for the end zone. It's a border marker. And
the Dakota marker.
Yes. So South Dakota State probably coming home with that this weekend. I mean,
what the? I'm on their Wikipedia page and they don't have a picture of it.
What
kind of dog shit is this?
Jeez.
I want to see. Oh, here it is. Oh, that looks pretty fucking cool. Open it up in a new link. No, open picture new.
Sorry, you got to it faster than me here.
No, you're all good, man. Sorry. This is where you prove if you're a loyal listener or not. If you want to deal with this shit.
Yep, that's a legit trophy. It says ND on one side and an SD on the other.
What's it say? Founded in 2004. Only since 2004, huh?
Yeah, pretty recent. So South Dakota State's coming home with that again. So that's this weekend. Is that rivalry game? So.
Now, Trent, you seem very big into the South. You've been our South Dakota State, resident here. You know who leads the all-time series?
Well, North Dakota State probably won about 15 years in a row there.
Yeah. The good news is the largest victory wasn't like during their dominant time, though. It was in 1903. North Dakota State won 85-0.
Oh my God.
Holy cow.
Actually, the craziest thing is the longest streak was from 76 to 92. North Dakota State won 17 straight there, but 114 total meetings. North Dakota State leads 63, 46, and 5. South Dakota State, 4-year win streak.
South Dakota State's on one right now.
Yeah.
Continue that. We're getting that 17-game win streak now. We're only 12 years away.
And for trivia, if someone ever asked you what in North Dakota used to be called, they used to be called North Dakota Agricultural.
Okay.
So now we're deep in the roots on these stats here. We are just going fucking rivalry crazy.
Big
this episode.
FCS podcast.
Big. We're the biggest FCS podcast around, except for every other pod.
Yep.
So. Speaking of FCS level of offense, Northwestern. No, sorry.
Transition.
That's actually kind of a compliment right now.
Yeah.
Northwestern is a 5-point underdog at Iowa. We already put up the graphic. Over under 30.5. It has gone down to 30. I checked it right before we started. Game is at 2:30 exclusively on the Cock.
The Cock.
Dave, how you feeling?
I feel so about the game because I really don't. I don't know what to. I'm glad Brian is going to be gone, but it's like, is this like Is it time for him to say, fuck it, I'm going to shit the bed on this for the rest of the season? Or is he still going to go out and say, hey, let's try to keep getting some wins? But I'm going to try to one last time believe that maybe we can win.
Yep.
But only because it's at Wrigley and not because of Brian Ferentz. This is coming from an Angels fan, but I do believe that maybe, just maybe, we can win at Wrigley.
Angel David's gonna get in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Get the Angels going.
Yep. So a couple things. First off, we can all say that this is a super low over-under, 30 points. That's a pretty high over-under in Wrigley Field. I bet you that's the highest in Wrigley Field ever in history. 30 points on Wrigley. But actually,
I'm going to go for
What do you think is more possible, that there's been a higher baseball score in Cubs history in Wrigley, or this game?
I'm doing a quick Google. I'm doing a quick Google search here. Do you have the stat
of Wrigley?
Is this like a trivia question you're asking me, or?
Oh no! I was just curious. Sorry. Do you think it'll be higher than any baseball total in Wrigley in the last 25 years, or this game? Which do you think will have more points?
Ooh, I don't know.
Oh my god. So okay,
because there might be some 10-9 games.
Do you know?
In Wrigley?
Okay, guess the highest scoring game in Wrigley Field history. Total runs. Hint: this game ain't going over this number.
Okay, so and this won't give it away. Did it go into overtime?
Overtime.
Extra innings.
Or extra innings.
Oh, okay.
Baseball, I don't care.
Oh my god!
Did we get more baseball in this game than we formally did?
Well, this was on August 25th, 1922. I can't find if it went into.
It was a Wednesday, wasn't it?
Extras or not.
I'm going to guess 22 to 21. No, hold on. I'm going to make it a football score, 24 to 21. It had a big 17th inning.
You're close. What do you got, Dave?
I'm going to go 25 to 19.
26 to 23. 49 runs.
Holy. Wow.
Man, okay, never mind. What a dumb question I asked, because there's no way this thing is over 26 to 23.
I want to go. I think I want to go under, and it's going to get right to 28 points. I don't know how, but that's what it's going to do.
Sorry, I had to text my buddy. The Rangers just won the World Series. He's super excited. Matthews, he'll have his Matthews minute here shortly, but wow, 23, that is insane, dude.
So I just did some math. South Dakota State averages 20 more points a game than Iowa.
Well,
39.
I was gonna say, well, they have to play like North Dakota State and North Dakota, and all of a sudden I was like, that's, I mean,
yeah, don't be getting it mixed up here, Brian. I mean, those guys are tough too.
What are they in? The Summit?
They're in the Missouri Valley. The SEC of the FCS.
Yeah. They need it. Yeah. I can't think of anything creative on that. The one thing that this one, again, this is a Iowa team that has a tenured coach, and I don't think Brian will ever be that guy that quits in the middle of the season, especially when his dad's there who's been fighting for him. You're going to finish this the right way, but Kirk is 11-11, and he's had some very good teams, and so is Pat Fitzgerald, to his credit, at that university. But this is just one of those teams that Iowa just is a thorn in its side, dude. Yeah. And like with Iowa State, Ferentz started 500, and then he kind of pulled away with Campbell, right? It's so weird to see Ferentz is still 500, and I think that kind of talks to the coaching level of both sides, which right now with Northwestern on an interim coach or a first-year coach, that should be enough for Iowa to win. They don't make the mistakes. Yeah, they're only going to score 6 points, but they're only going to allow 3,
I think it's going to be under, but probably like a 17-10 style game.
Yeah, I mean the over.
If we're lucky,
I was looking at like the 30 points, and I was like, I could see on a very high end 20-10, we still hit the under on 30.5, and Kirk wins that game with ease. But honestly, the more I look at it, is like, do I think Northwestern's going to score more than 10? Hell no, man. They're going to get one luck touchdown and maybe set up for a field goal, but that's about it.
I don't know. You said one of you guys said the exact same thing when Minnesota happened, and look what happened there.
Yeah, but I would say that one was when me and Trent always complained about. Iowa didn't get.
That's when you guys were like pounding your chest, "Go Iowa!" And me and Joey were like,
"Look what happens! I start being Hawkeye Trent, and then they lose."
Man, Trent, 0-1 is a Hawk fan. How's it feel?
I'm going to be a Hawkeye fan every year during the Iowa State game just to make Iowa State win.
If you don't think I put a note somewhere on my desk that says bet Iowa in the Cyhawk game next year, I'm on such a cold streak right now. That's how we're going to win. I will lose $100 if it means we win the Cyhawk, Now, for this game as well, it's a weird graphic, so I'll explain it when I pull it up here. But this is the Big Ten kind of play-in game, if you will, for the championship. So, like, Ohio State at the very top. If they win this weekend, they have a 52% chance of getting to the Big Ten Conference Championship. If they lose, it drops down to 23 because Michigan's so close. If you look down at the bottom for the Big Ten East, Iowa has a significant shot. They control their destiny. If they win, it's a 41% chance they go in. If they drop this game somehow, it's starting to get to a slim chance. It drops down to 17%. Because they do have the head-to-head versus Wisconsin, but I think you got to be damn near perfect the rest of the year in order for you to, make it.
Yeah, and it could happen, but at the same time, I can see it not happening.
I'm pulling up Wisconsin's remaining schedule is pretty easy. They have Indiana, Northwestern, Nebraska, and Minnesota. So they've got a good shot at winning out.
Yeah. Well, and that's where you can see Wisconsin. Like, they win, they have 55%. They have a better shot of making it than Ohio State does,
But how does I guess it's do they get in just based on their division record?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I believe so.
They would end with the same Big Ten record, with Iowa winning against Wisconsin, but Iowa must have lost more Big Ten West games, right?
Yeah, I guess I'm not an expert on the Big Ten conference way, but I believe it's just strictly their conference record, and I guess that's where if you get that's where I think Iowa got stuck last year. Is they got unlucky having to play Michigan and Ohio State.
Yep.
So they had those two losses in the Big Ten.
Yeah. Yeah, Wisconsin's got a pretty light schedule the rest of the way. So Iowa needs to win out and needs Wisconsin to lose one.
It's crazy. Early on with Fickle, you thought, oh, what a fluke. They lost to Washington State. Now all of a sudden they're in the driver's seat at this point.
Yeah, I hate Wisconsin now. They lost me money this week, so
it's so funny how it's like I have no ill will for Middle Tennessee State. But if they cover a spread versus Miami one time, I despise them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know how much I hate Georgia Tech.
It's never because of
I saw Ohio State 14.5-point favorite over Wisconsin and hammered that over. I thought Wisconsin would lose by 40. Nope.
I saw them score 6 versus Iowa. I was like, this is easy.
Dude, that's what I thought. I was like, dude, Iowa beat them. They only scored 6 points. Easy money. Ohio State gonna win by more than 14.5. No, they win. Dude, Vegas knows they won by 14.
Yeah. Ohio State has Maserati Marv. What the fuck are we doing here? How do you not give this kid the ball and win me my $10 bet?
I totally agree.
I wonder if Vegas has the book from the Back to the Future movies.
They got the sports almanac, dude.
They have to.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Ryan.
Well, Ryan here says Matt Rule's going to run the Big Ten here soon. Dave, rebuttal.
Is he in Rapid City, right?
Yeah.
Sturgis.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what he's smoking.
Oh no. Okay, you're trying to figure out the state laws on
Leftovers from the
marijuana.
rally.
Yeah.
And they're not in
I-
a joint. They're probably in a spoon.
I thought we were gonna start getting enemies out in Rapid City here soon, start shit talking the city.
Well,
No,
Rapid.
I think
Ryan would probably agree with you if you said something bad about Rapid.
More like Rapid Shitty.
Don't pick up those cool looking rocks. They're not.
Yeah.
I think you're on crack, Ryan.
Oh shit. Well, I don't know. I think Iowa wins this one. I'm not going to buy Peacock in order to watch it, though. I will watch it from
Iowa and Northwestern at 2:30 on the cock, followed by reruns of Young Sheldon.
Get ready to take it on the cock. We got documentaries about wrestling in the office. Everyone do your gym face at the Peacock app. Ooh, fucking raise your eyebrow. I'm trying to think what other shows they would have on there.
30 Rock. I think I said that one a couple weeks ago.
That's The Office.
It's my favorite.
Followed by reruns of 30 Rock.
30 Rock. Oh, Tracy Jordan doing something crazy in this episode. 30 Rock.
They do have The Office. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw that.
Yeah. They get one classic, and all of a sudden they decide to open up the whole fucking new streaming service. It's just bring back cable. Bring back cable. I want everything just back again. So, all right. Iowa State is going to play prime time. They are paying Kansas 2.5-point favorites. Iowa State is over under 54 points. 6 o'clock ESPN. Trent, how do we win this thing?
Dude, we're riding high right now. We got to keep going. Kansas is hitting that emotional hangover.
Yep.
They're going to lose.
That's my biggest takeaway right now is they looked good. First off, Oklahoma looked worse than Kansas looked good in that game. That's not taken away from Jason Bean or anything. It's just Oklahoma's number 6. They have the athletes. They're looking at the playoffs, and somehow Booth Stadium made enough noise, and Dylan Gabriel made enough mistakes for Kansas to squeak that one out, and it was a hell of a win. First off, last week, just to go back to it quick, that was embarrassing how few people were there. A little rain, a little bit of a delay. That stadium was empty.
Yeah.
This is to build off that, Venables should be ashamed of himself. You had a half-empty Booth Stadium versus Kansas. You had a weather delay when you were playing bad to get your team grouped together, get focused. We got to do it. And you don't make appropriate changes to your team. I know I was texting Matthews jokingly, hey, how you going to pull this one out? LOL. And then a quarter and a half later when I thought they'd be up by 14, I'm going, dude, are you going to change anything? And I don't know, speaking of firing offensive coordinators, why Jeff Lebby was let back on that plane after you lose that game is embarrassing, man. You got a Heisman candidate quarterback. You have an All-American. I at least All Big 12. I don't know quite All-American with Farouk on that team. You have the athletes. You should be destroying Kansas, and you play down to their level, which is not a terrible far compared to the Kansases of old, but you're Oklahoma. They're Kansas. You figure that out. You lose to them in basketball, you win on the gridiron.
Yeah, for sure. So I was watching that, and KU got up 14 real quick. And I was like, uh-oh. KU had all that momentum. And after that happened, and then the lightning happened, and an hour and a half delay. And I'm just like, dude, the vibe in KU's locker room and the vibe in Oklahoma's locker room were just light years apart. KU's feeling good, feeling themselves. Oklahoma, they're pissed. And it probably wasn't good sitting there for an hour and a half on that. And I just thought, this is not going to end well.
But you got to take advantage of it,
I know.
man. That was the one thing. It's that shows if I hope there's a hangover. That shows how good of a coach Leopold is. Do not lose your focus. Yeah, you're up by 2 scores, and you get to live in this moment. You're up by 2 scores versus Oklahoma. Don't let them back in.
Yeah.
You know.
Then they tear down the goalpost and go throw them in this
Threw it in the lake.
scummy ass pond on campus somewhere that looked more disgusting than Lake Laverne somehow.
Like sorry. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was saying somehow looked worse than Lake Laverne. I say if Iowa State wins on Saturday, tear down the goalpost, go throw them bastards in the Raccoon River.
Take the Welch Ave. That's what we got.
You got to walk by Lake Laverne on the way to Welch Ave. So just throw them in the lake on the way.
Dump it off, get a slice from Jeff's, and then go to the
get a super dog.
Excuse me. But
We're
this is
Euro.
That's why college football will never be topped by the NFL. It sucks that TV execs are changing things and we're losing Farmageddon and stuff like that. But it's those moments. NFL cannot do anything that will compete to like that type of stuff. Hey, drunk kids that are happy in this 4-year period, and they're going to tear down people's property and they're going to throw it in the lake, and they're not going to have to pay for it. You know, you have bragging rights your whole life on it now.
Do you see that they had a new goalpost up like that afternoon already?
Really?
Yeah, it was fast.
Oh, well. I guess they probably take one from like the practice field. I was like, where the fuck do you keep a spare field goal?
They got one laying around.
See, because my thinking is Iowa State's been so bad at kicking for the last 100 years because they never had a goalpost in the practice field. We just have the 2 in the field. Yeah. That's why we never got to practice.
They have to go into the stadium to practice field goals, but they don't let them in.
Yeah. But they don't let them in because you can't fuck up the all-natural grass out there. So we never got to practice.
Yeah.
It's
security won't let the kickers in the stadium to practice.
Yeah. But for going back to actual serious on this game, this is sad. But Kansas was good early on in just college football history. Kansas leads this all-time series versus Iowa State. 51-45-6. Campbell 6-1 versus Kansas. This is a few stats that I got from Cyclone Larry for why we're going to win this game as well, Dave. Okay. Iowa State is 17-3 in Jack Trice Stadium when the sun sets before or during the game. The average winning margin in those games is 22 points. We're 3-0 versus top 10 opponents. Kansas isn't, but you know we play top talent well, and they've held opponents to 15 or less points in 13 of the 20 games. So. My question, because I'm not sure if Ryan is still here.
He's here.
I mean, is Jack Trice Stadium the new Death Valley? I think so.
If Iowa State does not wear black jerseys on Saturday night, I will be pissed.
Oh, sorry, Iowa fans, so we can't wear our black uniforms. Trent, we're going to have to wear something else.
That's the black jersey to Brian Ferentz's funeral. Waving on the way out.
We're still.
I think you guys should wear that weird, early '90s, cyclone that didn't look like a cyclone.
I'd be all about that, dude. Clone NATO was awesome.
Yeah.
I've
been watching the early '90s.
The cool one. I'm saying the one that actually has the squiggles.
Oh, yeah, those are sweet.
Yeah. But 5 years ago, you guys had 3, and it just looked really.
That was
ugly.
The bugle. They were bugles.
Yeah, the bugles. Yeah. You guys wear the bugles, and then see what Rock Chalk does. And
everybody hated the bugles. I thought they were sneaky good.
I just felt like I had a bunch of things on my fingers.
They should go back to the walking sigh.
I
agree, man.
I'd like to see
that logo.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
On a Hawk helmet. Or
just think, we have the money now. Make these alternate jerseys. Sell them off to charity. You're going to make more money buying these alternates and selling them.
Give it to NIL. Give it to the We Will.
Yep, that's what I'm saying.
I'd buy one.
But if I would think about it, I would say those get expensive, man. Mm-hmm. But I would definitely think of buying one.
Well, it's like Chris Williams in the Cyclone Fanatic in Iowa Everywhere studio has the Brett Meyer jersey, the old school throwback jersey from when they beat Iowa in like 2000.
Was it the 2 game? The season other than where they went to the Orange Bowl?
No, it was like 2009 or 2000,
Oh, shit,
2007 is whenever Iowa State won on all field goals. They won 15-12 or whatever on all field goals.
Yes.
Yeah, like he has that. Like they, but I think he got that from Brett Meyer. Like that'd be so cool to have like one of those game worn jerseys, like throwback like that.
Right. Think how much those Purdy game worn jerseys are selling for now, dude.
He's gonna be at the game.
Oh, there you go, Dave. That's another reason why Purdy's going to be there. He's going to be there. They're going to show him in the first quarter. He's just going to be sitting there with his mom or dad or something, do a little awkward wave, and that stadium is going to go fucking bananas. Like these people winning the World Series, that's going to be us just seeing Brock Purdy's smiling, boyish face on the big screen. Fucking going bananas.
If they could get him and George Niang there at
They're
the
gonna
same
show
time,
him on the big screen. Everybody's going to do that juicy wiggle, probably.
oh yeah,
Oof.
there'll be juice, all right.
Something of mine will be wiggling. I'm going to have to sit down, ladies. Brock Purdy's on the big screen over
Rock
here.
hard.
It's Rocktober,
Yeah.
where you rock hard all the time.
Yep.
I think Iowa State wins this one by, I think 10. Man, I mean, I think we cover the spread easy, but these are kind of the trap games that Campbell falls into, where these close, like, where I think in the past, and we've talked about it several times this year, these are where the trap games, why we lose those is because we've never won in the margins. The kicking game's fine. The defense is doing enough. The offense is picking up. I mean, just literally having the special teams doing what it's been doing this year, that's the difference where we beat Kansas.
Yeah, I think so too.
So, I don't know. It's going to be a hell of a game. I actually, me and my buddy TJ got tickets for it, so I'm fucking pumped to be
Nice.
at that. That is going to be a great environment out there.
Can't wait for your texts. You're going to be so far. So I stream everything. So you're like, when we text during the game, you're like 2 plays ahead. You'll be about a series ahead now.
I hate that. I feel bad because like I don't want to be the guy who goes, shit, and you're like, well, I don't have to watch this play. We're gonna throw it.
So on Saturday, during the Baylor game, I think I texted you like, dude, we got the ball back. Let's go down and score here before the half. And then you texted me, yeah, sounds good. And then like you text me right, like, God damn it. Like Iowa State, it was still in commercial.
I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to spoil it for you. It was already bad enough when I was like watching the Super Bowl and like my betting app was it would be before a play and I feel I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Because we're on defense and I just see this longest fucking pass. Like, come on, man. Can you delay the updates like 10 seconds?
That live betting don't work that way, man.
No, they got to keep you up to the minute in the Super Bowl. I just want to throw this up here because we did the Iowa one. You can see we technically have a shot, but we have very slim right now. Again, we control our destiny though, but you can see how wide of a margin where Oklahoma wins 82% chance because they only got the one win. If they lose, they're dropping down to a 36% chance to making the conference championship game. Look at how much those sway all of a sudden. Texas and Kansas State, it's a 50% drop off in your probability of making it if they lose. I mean, we're going to jump up a little bit. We can just keep climbing that ladder, keep climbing that hill until we get to the conference championship game.
Oklahoma State's going to beat Oklahoma this weekend.
Oh,
Oklahoma State is hot. Their only loss in the Big 12 was the first Big 12 conference game versus Iowa State, and Oklahoma State was hot garbage then. Gundy has turned that around. It's insane. They're undefeated since then.
Gundy had this crazy revelation where he goes, you know what? I should only play one quarterback. And then all of a sudden they started fucking winning.
Weird. Yeah, like they were hot garbage against Iowa State, the first game in the Big 12 schedule. And they've rattled off 4 or 5 in a row.
Mm.
They're hot. I think they win. I think they win Bedlam.
I'm gonna pull up Winsipedia here.
Where's
but,
Matthews?
You know,
Come on.
He's enjoying his team just won the World Series.
Why is he
He's not gonna
arranging? Where is he from?
He's from Texas. He's from like Dallas Fort Worth area.
No, okay. Well, that makes sense, but
I was like,
Okay.
it makes sense, man.
I mean,
Like,
you know him. I figured
thought
maybe he was
I was thinking
from
Mike
Iowa,
Gundy.
like- Go ahead.
Mike
I
Gundy
thought
won.
Mike
Go ahead,
Gundy
Dave.
probably got. I thought Mike Gundy was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm a man. I'm 56 now.
Yes. I was gonna say I'm close to 60.
That was 16
almost
years
on-
ago this year. So
Was that how long ago that was?
yeah.
Man.
See, we need Matthews here just because he knows these embarrassing stats. I just pulled it up on Winsipedia. Can you guess what the all-time this has like been called a rivalry, a good rivalry. Everyone loves it. Do you know what
It's huge.
Yeah, do you know what the all-time series is?
It's not. It's OU owns it.
90-19-7. Oklahoma just annihilate. They won from 1946 to 1964. After World War II, Oklahoma said, "Fuck it, we're not going to lose again." They won for 2 straight decades in this series, man.
Jesus.
This is insane.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess I always get kicks. It's like this, like Oklahoma beating Iowa State as much as they do. That makes sense. But I look at it as like it's not a rivalry. Oklahoma has just been a premier team for the whole history of college football, and Iowa State hasn't. But it's like this is the same team in the same area that should be able to recruit at the same level. That has T. Boone Pickens giving you $500 million, and it's 91-19. Like, holy shit!
It's gonna be 91-20 after this week.
You know what the crazy thing is? Look back. I think Gundy played in, was it the late 80s with Barry Sanders?
Yeah.
Wasn't it? So, I mean, this is roughly when Gundy started in let's just say 88, because I can't think of. Gundy has been part of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the 19 victories in this history, man.
But you got to think about it. He wasn't even a part of some of those because, like, he wasn't OSU's coach in '97.
Mhm. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Oh shit, I forgot that. Yeah, he wasn't on the team because he would have been in the NFL, I guess, at that point.
And Oklahoma
shit.
still beat Oklahoma State with
Les Miles used to be the Oklahoma State coach.
Yeah, I forgot about that
yeah.
before he went to LSU.
Huh.
Okay, that would have been LSU, and then Les Miles.
There's
and then
Gundy.
Sorry, Gundy in 05.
I didn't know that.
So he's 3 and what's that make it? 3 and 15 or 3 and 15 versus Oklahoma. I mean that's kind of like Campbell and every other like Big 12 team. It's like we only have 6 victories versus Oklahoma. Campbell's 3 of them. It's like Jesus, like it's the recency that we've been winning.
Yep, this weekend it's gonna happen.
That would be. Do you know how shitty you'd feel if you're Oklahoma if you leave and you're in the last year you lose to Kansas and Oklahoma State? You would rescind your offer to the SEC just to go back, so your last game versus them isn't a loss.
No, the SEC might rescind their offer. Yeah, you're
Oh,
not
no.
you're not
Yeah,
welcome
true.
anymore.
They might not be the one making the choice.
Yeah.
Right?
You're a peasant
Yeah.
now.
You can't win. You're in the Big Ten West.
Yeah. Oh. Could you imagine Oklahoma in the Big Ten West?
They would probably like go downhill.
That would. They would go downhill.
Dude, the Big Ten West
go downhill.
holds each other back because they only have to do so much to beat the other teams.
Yeah. You don't think Dylan
Very
Gabriel
true.
could show up in the middle of the second quarter, not put his shoulder pads on, and could still throw for 400 yards in the Big Ten West?
Like Bobby Boucher showed up at halftime, won the Bourbon Bowl.
Won the Bourbon Bowl? We'll have to do some hypotheticals like that in a pod. Rivalries, just off topics like that would be a fun one.
Yeah.
big games. We already talked about Bedlam enough there. 23 Kansas at 7 Texas. These are the playoff rankings, just so we're clear on where it is. Number 1 Ohio State at 6-2 Rutgers. That should be a good one, even though Rutgers is unranked. 12 Mizzou at number 2 Georgia. 5 Washington at number 20 USC, and then 14 LSU at number 8 Alabama. Remember, LSU beat Bama last year. Dave, which is the game that you're most looking forward to?
Washington USC. I want to see Washington just pound the piss out of them.
Yeah.
And finally get the respect they deserve, because I'm tired of seeing Florida State ahead of them.
Do you think Penix will have I mean, he had a rough game versus Arizona State a couple weeks ago, but this is a USC defense that has been pretty trash all year. I mean, do you think he's going to put up like huge numbers?
I don't know. Like, I guess I don't know how huge, but I really hope he puts up a good, at least 400, or just has a ball out game. Because I really am getting tired of seeing the Seminoles ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Seminoles have some probably bigger wins, but when you have probably one of the Heisman winners, or top 3, I think, and for sure, and he's having a good season. Yeah, I just want them to win by at least 14 or more.
Probably the best thing that could happen to Washington. Because, like you said, he's had a couple rough games as Penix. I think this is going to be one. He's had the scare game, and they still pulled it away. But now you're playing a team that's high ranked. This is the team that everyone goes, it's USC all offseason, USC. And now you get to play him in the Rose Bowl. Excuse me. This could be Penix's win. If he wins the Heisman, this will probably be the game that will start the campaign. Winning in an iconic stadium versus an iconic team.
And then I really think, like, don't get me wrong, FSU is good. They've played the teams that they need to, but, like, I think Washington, with how they've persevered and still stayed how they are.
Yeah.
And I still think their win against Oregon was plenty to...
Yeah, that should have elevated them.
Yeah, because, I mean, right now, Oregon is right behind them at number 6.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State's probably played more ranked teams, but Oregon's right on Washington's back right now at number 6, and they still beat them. Like, that's where I think they deserve more credit.
Trent,
and because of NCAA, you hear the Wolves howl in their college stadium. Mm-hmm. So that's another reason why I like them. For the Huskies.
Trent, which one are you most looking forward to?
I like the Mizzou-Georgia game. Georgia, I mean, they're number 2. They've won the last 2 national championships.
Yep.
They're not as strong this year. They're not just beating the hell out of everybody. I want to see them be challenged. I would love to see Mizzou win this game. I want to see chaos in these rankings, and that's what would do it. I would love to see a college football playoff with no SEC teams and just see the talking heads in ESPN just shit themselves.
I'd be ripping through my zipper if there was no SEC teams in the playoffs there, man.
And this is what's got to happen. God, I don't know. Even if Georgia loses to Missouri, and they're number 12. It's a good loss. They're still going to be highly ranked. They're going to go to the SEC championship. If they win that, they're going to be in.
This has always been the problem with the playoff. When you don't have the arbitrary rules of what it constitutes. Well, it's a good loss. Well, this one is worth more, in our opinion. Is it worth more, or did it have more viewers? So that's what you're looking at.
Yep.
Which of these schools is worth more money? Okay, we're going to do that. Which has the higher alumni base? That's what we're not going to base it off of a football field. We're going to base it off of Georgia lost 1 game to Mizzou. because then this is their always argument can be, well, you have to be undefeated. Okay, well, but this is a really good one-loss Big Ten team. Well, this is a really good two-loss Georgia team. They only lost to Mizzou and Alabama in the conference championship. You can't leave them out now.
Well, now if they're a 2-loss Georgia team and they lose to Alabama in the championship, Alabama's getting in.
Yeah, we'll see exactly. We'll never not have an SEC
Exactly.
team in the
playoffs. Yep.
there.
So
Now-
that's my game this week. I want to see Georgia be challenged. Now, is Missouri actually the 12th best team in the country and can challenge Georgia? I don't know, but we'll find out.
They got a solid receiver. It's just, I would say it's just going to kind of come down to Missouri is going to have the game of a lifetime, and you're going to have to rely on a young Carson Beck making mistakes that he really hasn't made this year.
Yep.
So, I'm going to say my favorite game is LSU at Alabama, just because it is going to be a big game. It's going to dictate if Alabama's for real, is that going to make Texas's win over them real, or are they not? Is LSU going to be able to sneak back in after just an early loss to FSU? Is there?
Hey,
No, I apologize. They lost to Ole
yeah,
Miss.
they've got 2 losses. Like, hey, do you know what would be great? Bama and Georgia losing this weekend. Dude.
I again, you're just talking dirty to me, Trent. Tell me Georgia loses, Alabama loses, Iowa State wins.
Yes.
Now this weekend, Brian Kelly is Brian Kelly and Jalen Daniels for LSU. Sorry, Jaden Daniels. I'm getting them mixed up with Kansas. But they have the opportunity to be one of the few player and coach to ever beat Saban back-to-back years. Can you name me the last quarterback to ever beat Saban in back-to-back years? And spoiler alert, it's been a while.
I was gonna say it's probably not even at Alabama.
Yes, correct.
Not at Alabama.
Correct. So
Oh my
it wasn't at Alabama, and I'm going to tell you right now, it wasn't at LSU either.
Okay, where was he before that?
Nick Saban was at Michigan State when this happened.
Chuck Long.
Kirk
Long?
Herbstreit.
Kirk Herbstreit. No. Drew Brees at Purdue
there you go.
Back-to-back years. And there's only been 7 coaches to ever do it in his tenure. And this is going back to Kent State, his Big 10 days, SEC. Can you name any coach that you feel has beaten him or that that has beaten him back-to-back years?
Again, is it a Big 10 coach?
There's about 5 Big 10 coaches and 2 SEC coaches.
Kirk Ferentz.
No. There is an Iowa coach. Well, Christ, I can just...
Hayden Fry.
Yeah, Hayden Fry.
I was like, you've had 2 coaches for 45 years, so, I mean, it makes it pretty easy, but Hayden Fry's one of them. Can you name either of the SEC people?
Joe Paterno.
Joe Paterno's another Big 10, so you got 2 of the 5.
Okay. SEC, Ed Orgeron.
Steve Spurrier.
Steve Spurrier's one of them. Sorry, there's 3 SEC, but Steve Spurrier's one of them.
Edo.
Not Edo.
Wow.
So, I'm sorry, 4 Big 10, you've got 2 of them, and 3 SEC, you've got 1 of them.
Les Miles.
2 of 3.
Urban Meyer.
No. The last SEC, because you're not going to think of it, is going to be Hugh Freeze.
Yeah, I would have got that.
We have Hayden Fry and Joe Paterno in the Big 10. Can you name the other 2?
In the Big 10?
In the Big 10. Both Big 10 East teams.
Who's the Ohio State coach? Mike Tressel.
Jim Tressel?
Jim Tressel.
No.
Oh.
Oddly enough, same initials. Who is Drew Brees' coach?
At Purdue, I could not name a Purdue coach.
Oh, that old dude.
I'll accept that.
Ow.
Oh,
What the hell's his name? I know what he
What?
looks like. I can
You
see
wanna
him
get-
right now.
do you want initials?
Yeah.
JT.
Yeah, when you said
Yeah, I
Jim
know that
Tressel.
part. You already gave.
Oh,
Yeah, you already said that. What the hell's that guy's name?
the last one is going to be was a coach at Michigan. While you're thinking of the JT.
Rich Rod.
Before that,
I have no idea.
Lloyd Carr.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of him. I'm thinking of the
So who's
Purdue guy.
Purdue's coach?
Joe Tiller.
I would have never got that.
But what an exclusive list that is to like. This is like the Belichick. These crazy stats come up. There's only been 7 coaches that have. We were just talking about how Oklahoma beat the fuck out of Oklahoma State for 2 straight decades. And Saban's only had 7 people ever beat him back-to-back years.
Yeah, that's insane.
And only 1 quarterback. I mean, that is... Think of all these years he's been in the SEC and in the Big Ten and the quarterback prowess that you've had in these conferences, and it's only Drew Brees and it's those 7 coaches. That's insane.
Yeah.
And actually, if you look at it even farther, like with the Joe Pa and Hayden Fry and stuff, this is the early 90s. This wasn't the Saban that we know.
No.
That's before he really took off.
Yeah.
Huh.
Could you imagine like an alternate reality if he would have just like stayed at Michigan State and just took them to Alabama status?
I don't want. I think that'd be insane.
That'd have been weird. Like just thinking of that's odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's always. Have you ever looked at him back in the day? How he looks older than he does now.
Yeah.
At Michigan State, wearing those big old doofy glasses and
He's
stuff.
got Benjamin Button disease.
The winning keeps him.
He looks
young.
older now.
Yeah.
Older now than he did then.
Yeah, and he's like 78. Is like how old is he?
He is 78.
Is he 78? Yeah.
Hold on. There's no way this is him. Sorry, give me a second. I'm pulling it up.
So
this is probably.
So while you're pulling it up, I'll give you a second here.
Yeah,
he's 72. He's my dad's age.
The Big 12 schedule this weekend is legit. So you have 23 Kansas State at 7 Texas at 11 a.m. Then after that, you got Oklahoma State, Bedlam at 2:30. Then after that, you got Iowa State and Kansas, 6 p.m. That's what I'm watching this weekend. Big 12.
Hard.
Yeah.
And just think, next year, Big 12 After Dark, baby.
Oh, man.
Like the BYU game, we're playing at 9 p.m. at night, dude.
Yeah, that kind of grinds my gears.
That's my dream come true. We play a Big 12 day all day. Whoo, buddy.
After my bedtime.
72.
Dude, he looks older there. And he's probably like 45 right there, right?
I was just going to say, I tried to zoom in as much as I could and say, he's old.
Let's be legit. Let's be real here. He is less than 10 years older than me in that picture.
He looks like Pierce Brosnan does now 25 years ago.
Yeah.
What year is that picture?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, what years was he at Michigan State?
That's how you guys.
I'm not
sure. Because he is 15 days younger than my dad.
I think it was he was at Michigan State until 99 at least, because I think he won in 01.
So if he was 99, if that was in, say that was 97. 24 years ago. 72 minus 24.
We'll say it's if that was 97, say 27 years ago.
He was a year older than me in that picture.
Yeah. Okay, this one, that might just be a bad picture as well, because this one looks a little bit better, but still like that one was just like, how did he have gray hair and he looked old as shit? Whoa, look at that. Look at that handsome mug there. Greatest coach in college football history.
But still, he's still less than 10 years older than me in that picture, and he still looks significantly older than I do.
Like I said, winning keeps you young, dude. Why do you think us Iowa State fans look old, starting to get older?
Why do you think I have no hair? It's a choice. I shave it.
Oh shit!
It's a hairdo.
But yeah, no. Dude, we've had a lot of great weekends where, because so many top teams haven't been dropped off, we're about to have a great slate of the last month of all these games, man, because no one's been like upset yet,
Yeah.
or it's very few times,
Yeah, I can't. Like this Saturday, I've got a full Saturday of no plans.
Right now,
I'm all in on this.
Amelia's gonna have a gift card that she's gonna have to buy another gift with, or
Gonna have to go to yeah. That's what happened 2 weeks ago. Bryant texted me. I'm at Target now because Amelia had a gift card.
buying a Cinderella dress or
Yeah.
something. That was one of Trent's I have all day for college football type days, I think.
Katrina has other plans, I'm sure.
Gotcha. Damn it, Matthews isn't here. We can't do the Matthews minute without him. But I just wanted to point out Iowa State and Drake still have the same record, 5-3, and we have a very good opportunity to beat them. So
I want to point out that South Dakota State beat Drake 70-7.
Yeah, but Drake beat Stetson 33-7.
Whoa.
So Drake is exactly.
Did you know that Drake, like a non-scholarship team,
yeah,
if they have like a great season, say they went 11-1, they can go to the FCS playoffs?
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. Yeah, totally weird to me.
The more you know.
Yep.
Or no, it's a shooting star.
Yeah,
The more
so
you know.
you listen to this podcast, you learn things.
Yeah, we ramble for about 20 minutes between all these interesting facts, but you do learn things.
You got any more trivia questions?
No, I was just gonna fire through some. Here's a trivia question: do you think Deion Sanders thinks that the Rose Bowl should reimburse his players for stolen jewelry and not insurance?
I don't think a "do you think" is a trivia question. That's an opinion.
Well, it's a yes or no. I mean, true, false.
What's worse for Deion? That's what I think.
I'm sorry. Like we've kind of gotten away because I don't like to just keep ripping on him. But it's funny seeing that like now that it's losing and he's not Mr. Smiles in prime time, and he's used to being able to control his own destiny, and he does the best he can. He's got to watch these kids. Like he's talking about how they don't have offensive linemen. They're going to have to get some new guys in. It's like you brought in 80 new players. They can't transfer out. They're not going to transfer out a second year and then sit out. You have to develop these guys now, which someone pointed out, Brian Ferentz to Colorado, that would be actually kind of scary. Brian getting out of the shadows, going to a team that needs offensive line help. I mean,
yeah, this ain't this ain't the NFL. Like you have to develop these players. They don't come in with all this talent, and you brought in all these guys with all this talent, and now they're not doing well.
Yeah,
darn
him.
Didn't see that coming.
Him and Pitt coach Narduzzi. I don't keep up with Pitt at all. I don't really care, but it's just funny because he's like, you know what? We thought we brought in some good players, or we thought we did a good job replacing talent, and apparently we didn't. It's like, Jesus, God, why don't you just say they fucking suck, man? Like, what kind of coach?
What a slap in the face.
All of his players like retweet, like quote tweeting is like, no way I'm reading this, right? Like I would be fucking furious. Oh, yeah, I've just been busting my ass waking up these early morning practices, 2-a-days and all this shit. And my coach says we all suck ass because we didn't replace Kenny Pickett as well as we did or whoever else. Doesn't matter, you know. Mm-hmm. But what else do I have? Colorado State got a 15-yard penalty for throwing snowballs at the Air Force. I think if anyone threw one of those snowballs with like ice in it, those ice balls, I think that person should be put up for treason. You can't do that. You're throwing snowballs at the armed forces team? Come on.
They'll take their fighter jet against that any day.
Well, why don't you just start stealing signs versus Navy? Shocker, they're going to run, you know? Oh, shit. Run wishbone again? Shit. To the left?
Like 12 in the box.
Get Connors out there. We got him. Yeah, the only other thing I had was Dabo getting questioned about his salary with going 4-4. I have a feeling that this is going to be the Matt Campbell you're on the hot seat type thing that all of a sudden he's going to get it turned around. They go 8-4 the rest, 4-0 the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything else called football. I have a couple other sports things, but anything else college football you guys want to get out? Because we're in the last 10 minutes here, dude.
Yeah, we got to wrap this up in 10 minutes and 10 seconds.
I don't have anything.
The only thing I have in college basketball, Rip Bob Knight, 83 years old, passed away like 2 hours before the podcast aired. Dude, the first reality television show I can remember was I think it was called like Back to School or
Night
something.
School.
Like Night School. And it was just like, hey, do you want to make the basketball team? You have to be on this TV show. And I was like, this is such a crazy behind the scenes. Like, that was kind of the moment where things started like Survivor and everything else was coming on. I watched Night School. I think it was only on one season, but it's pretty interesting.
That was when he was at Texas Tech, right?
Yep. Texas Tech. I was reading the obituary. It was just funny, like hearing like, he did some shit like choking players and like bad stuff. But, like, no one ever remembers that. They only remember him tossing the chair onto the court.
You know what I remember?
What's that?
2 quotes. And when I die, I hope they bury me upside down so all the critics can kiss my ass. I wonder if they'll actually do that, for one.
They should.
And 2, look up his look up the YouTube video, Why Fuck is His Favorite Word.
Why fuck is his favorite word?
Yeah, I can't quote it word for word, but it is one of the funniest videos you'll ever see.
Okay. I'm gonna look it up after we're done recording here so I can get a good giggle. But he's just one of those guys. It's like that's classic when it's like, oh, he's just an old school type of guy. Like you can't take what he says seriously. It's just different era, and that's what made him great.
Yep.
So, other than that, just Iowa State news. I was just gonna say Iowa State's redshirting JT Rock and Jelani Hamilton.
JT Rock from Lincoln High School in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Another South Dakota resident. Damn, son. That's where true basketball's played.
Dude's a 7-footer. We finally got a 7-footer.
We had the Greek Freak a couple of years ago. A different Greek Freak, not the real one. But, this makes me feel very good that we're able to sit a 7-footer and this Jelani Hamilton. I don't know much about him. We all hear about
Momcilovic.
Momcilovic, thank you. In Omaha, but it's nice that we have depth where we're feeling fine with sitting 2 freshmen and letting a 7-footer develop into his body, and getting a year into the weight room. And
Jelani Hamilton's supposed to be a freak as well.
Get a year to just focus on getting the body weight you need, and in that system, TJ's got him playing, man. I feel like this is going to be a scary year for how good we can be. And that's even with me going, I would still be fine with are we 10-8 in the Big 12? That's fine. This is going to be a buzzsaw of a season.
Yeah, it's going to get you into the tournament for sure. At probably a 5 seed.
Perfect. You know what seed UConn was when they won last year?
7.
5 seed.
Okay.
I was giving you the layup there, dude.
Sorry.
Come on.
I saw an article the other day that Drake basketball. The reason this reminded me is your Iowa State Drake record thing, but the Drake basketball, I could have swore I saw an article that they are a sleeper team of some sort throughout for the whole year. Like they are a team that could be very, very good or something.
Come out of the Missouri Valley.
Yeah, but I don't know too much about them.
Tournament time too is when I saw it. It's something about a team that could make a big run in the tournament, like the big tournament in March, and they said Drake was one of them.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to do some research, but I've been hearing the same thing that Drake. They're talking about. It's they might be in the top 25 discussion throughout the year. They've just brought back that much talent And that's kind of the nice thing about college basketball is some of these small programs can get that recognition at, 30-3. They could be a top 15 in the country compared to JMU. They're just getting into the top 25 after beating it. I can't remember what their record was last year, but starting 8-0 for the second, or I think they were 6-0 last year, and then 8-0 this year. I mean, this is a winning team, and it's Sun Belt, but recognize that they're winning. They're winning at an unbelievable pace.
Yep.
Especially coming from a lower level, and all of a sudden they're beating the shit out of FBS teams.
Yep, for sure.
Last thing I was going to mention here, just with college wrestling, it's too bad Joey ain't here, but Cyhawk is going to be airing on ESPN, the original ESPN 1. This is the first time ever a regular season meet has aired on ESPN. If you have ESPN Plus, you can see all the days and all the wrestling meets, but this is the first time ever on the main network. I mean, that's huge, man.
Yeah, I will watch that.
I'm going to see if I can't get to the actual meet, living in Ames, but huge.
Yeah.
Regardless, Iowa State, I think, has a chance to be Kevin Dresser's got them playing well. They are playing well, wrestling well. They're bringing back enough talent. David Carr back again, younger. This could be especially between this and Iowa has those wrestlers out for the gambling, most likely. I mean, it would probably be a disappointment if we don't beat Iowa this year. We've been competing closer the last couple of years. This is the year we need to take over while we have the momentum of, honestly, the gambling stuff.
Yep, I agree. I like that. That's finally something on ESPN. I'm sure Joey's happy too.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, honestly, we got 4 minutes to wrap it up. I don't have anything else that we need to talk about. You guys, anything you want to throw out there?
Got it all out of my system.
Dave, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Well, appreciate everyone joining us here live tonight. We'll be doing this every Wednesday around 9:00. We'll be breaking down the Kansas win on Monday. The Iowa win, the Iowa State win over Kansas. The Iowa win over Northwestern. We'll be mad about the playoffs, I think, next week for some reason.
Probably.
There'll be something that sneaks in. It'll be a good time.
Yeah.
So appreciate everyone joining. We'll see you next week.